Hey everybody, Mike here coming at you from the room of the Ancient Mariner, and tonight I've got a special video I want to do to commemorate today's date. January 19th, 2001 marks the 40th anniversary or birthday of my favorite album of all time, which is Paradise Theater by Styx. And so you can see it barely a little bit up in the corner over my shoulder. I'm gonna stand up so you can get a better sign of it. That is the newest addition to the music room. Hopefully you can see that. Put the camera back there, my less than high quality YouTube videos. But so we put that up, and I wanted to do this video real quick to kind of commemorate today. As I said, this is my favorite album of all time. I know it's not, metalheads maybe be scratching their heads going, wait a minute, Mike, you're a metalhead. What, Styx? Yeah, Styx. So imagine an 11-year-old kid whose one of his favorite songs at the time had always been Come Sail Away. And you learned through the radio in the day that Styx was going to release a new album. And I remember going to pick it up at the record store. My mom took me to get it. And we picked up the record at Musicland Records in the mall, my hometown. And it just so happened too that we found out that the world tour for Paradise Theater was happening, and Styx was going to be coming to our town. And my mom, being the awesome mom that she was, arranged to get tickets to take me, and that was my very first concert experience. And the floodgates opened from that day forward. So this album has always held a real big spot in my heart, and I've always had an emotional attachment to it. And I love this album. It's my all-time favorite album, and I like every song on the album. I think musically, I think it's a quality album. I think it is Styx's finest moment. And we're just going to talk about it for a little bit here. Okay, so first I'm going to show you the album. And there's the front cover, and there's the back cover, and right away you'll notice a stark contrast in mood between the front and the back. We'll talk about that here in a minute. I want to show you the inside. So it's a gatefold. It opens vertically instead of horizontally. As you can see, there's some band photos and lyrics. If you can see, I don't know if you can see real good, but you might see some scribbling marks on there on the photos. That's because this is autographed. And it was autographed by Tommy, JY, and Chuck Panazzo, who I was lucky enough to meet at a meet and greet several years later for the release of Cyclorama. So I still don't have Dennis's autograph. You can see there's space for it right up here in this corner. So I'm holding out hope that one day I'll be able to complete that and get that on the album. I'm going to go ahead and show you the album here. It has a neat, kind of a neat custom label on it with the Paradise Theater emblems and colors. And then on the back, it's going to be really hard to see. I'm going to try to get you to see it in light. You can kind of see it there for a second if I see the light reflecting off it, but you can see it's etched. And what that is in the etching is it says Styx, and then on the sides of it, it's got like kind of the angel, kind of angelic looking statuettes that are kind of along the Paradise Theater logo there. But it's really, really cool that that's etched into the vinyl. So, and that was on every copy that was released. It wasn't like a collector. They didn't have all the collector's editions of things back in the 80s like they do now. So it was a pretty cool idea for the band to do that. So the record itself, again, released January 19th, 1981. It followed up a string of phenomenal albums that Styx had already put out. They were chasing the success of The Grand Illusion, Pieces of Eight, and Cornerstone. And this album was the first, I think, was the first Styx album to, of the A&M releases to follow kind of a loose concept. I wouldn't call it a concept album per se, but it's a loose concept fit. It's not a concept album, say like, Operation Mindcrime or The Wall. It doesn't. The album does. The songs don't all completely interact to tell a story, but there's a loose concept through the entire run of the album. And the basic concept is the decline of American civilization, kind of like going through the late 70s and into the early 80s, that transitional period where America was kind of experiencing some changes. And Dennis DeYoung's vision of the concept was, we'll describe that kind of decline metaphorically through the story of this fictional theater, this Paradise Theater. So you can see in the beginning, the theater in its youth was vibrant and active and full of life, and then over the years it resulted in being dilapidated and empty and falling apart. And that was the metaphor of the kind of the decline of America going from the late 70s to the early 80s. Does it kind of sound familiar here? I mean, here we are 40 years later, and things really do go full circle. You could do that. You can do that again, going from the 2000s to the 2020s, or even at the turn of the century. So, kind of a neat concept. Again, the songs themselves aren't really telling a story, although some of the songs actually did kind of had that theme at their core. So the music itself, I think, is some of the best music that Styx has ever put on record. I really it features the radio hits, Too Much Time on My Hands, and The Best of Times were the big singles. Rockin' the Paradise, which is my favorite Styx song of all time, is, I think, the highlight of the album. But they're just fantastic songs throughout. Nothing Ever Goes As Planned was kind of a deeper cut. One of my favorite songs on the album, which was a deep cut that I don't know that it's ever been played on the radio, but it was Lonely People, which is kind of a neat. It's kind of hard to describe. It's a rocky kind of song, but it's not hard rock per se, but it really has a snarling attitude to it, and that's one of the songs that has lyrics that are kind of loosely tied to the conceptualization of the album. But you have Snowblind was a great rocker. Halfpenny Two Penny was one of the JY rocker that's kind of in the vein of Miss America, and really good variety of music. He had a nice balance of the harder guitar-oriented rock and the more poppy kind of pop rock that Styx was becoming more associated with, as famously led to the dissolution of the band on the album following this. Kilroy Was Here, where JY and Tommy Shaw just felt like the band was going in too much of a soft pop direction. It actually kind of started the release before on Cornerstone, is when some of the tensions began. Which, again, if you don't know the history of the band, their biggest song ever, Babe, is the most controversial because aside from Dennis, who wrote it, the rest of the fellas in the band weren't too thrilled about their biggest song being such a sappy pop ballad, I guess. But anyway, that's all water under the bridge. We can talk for hours and days about that if you're a Styx fan. So anyway, if you are a Styx fan, and I'm sure you already know and love this album, it's in your collection. And if you're not, I'd highly encourage you to check this album out. It's a very high quality record. I think it's one of the best albums to come out in the 80s that was a statement of what it is, a radio friendly hard rock and pop rock. And it's basically Styx doing what Styx does best. And I love it. I'll always love it. There'll always be a special place in my heart for it. And happy 40th birthday to Paradise Theater. So let me know what you think of the album. If you're not a Styx fan, check it out. Come back, drop a comment, let me know what you think. If you're new to my videos, I've never said this in one yet. Hey, hit like, hit subscribe, spread the word. I'm trying to build a little bigger base with my following, so I'll be doing some more videos here from the room, and we can talk about all things music. So happy birthday, Paradise Theater, and yeah, let me know what you think. All right, everybody, I'll talk at you later.